Good evening. This council work session meeting of July 21st, 2025 is called to order. Could we all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The time, by the way, was 6:03. Okay, roll call. Madam Clerk?
Councilmember Brusher.
Here.
Councilmember Coyle.
Here.
Councilmember Harris.
Here.
Councilmember Patel.
Here.
Councilmember Patil.
Here.
Councilmember Pointer. Councilmember Shmuel.
Here.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, could you read adequate notice?
Adequate notice of this meeting as required by the Open Public Meeting Act of 1975 has been provided by the annual notice sent to the Home News Tribune, Star Ledger, Desi Talk, and News India Times on November 18th, 2024, and posted in Main Lobby Municipal Complex on that same date.
Thank you. Review of the minutes. Any comments on the meetings of May 14th, June 23rd, June 25th? All right, seeing none. Unfinished business, we look at ordinances for further consideration, public hearing and final adoption, starting with ordinance 2250. Do I have you read that or not? Okay. All right, so any comments on ordinance 2250? Okay. For myself, I'm very glad that this is finally, after a few false starts, that this is finally coming to fruition and that we can open up the hiring for the fire department and promotions. So this is a very good thing. Number 6, proposed ordinances. Any council comments on A or B? Okay. I do have a question about B, the ordinance amending the Township Code to make Glencourt Avenue a one-way street west to east from Fowler Street to Woodbridge Avenue. And I've taken a drive over there, and I see this as a very small stretch. But what confuses me is whether or not there has been any polling or any canvassing that has any official results of the neighbors that would be affected by this. I know, Councilman Coyle, you're the one who's behind this ordinance. Can you share a little bit about what you've learned from this?
This has been an action requested by the neighbors for about 15 plus years. A few came here at the last meeting that were notified, and I also walked the block as well. Mayor Lanke was aware of it in the past, and also other members of the council. So I think it's a great opportunity to stop the flow of traffic from racing to beat the light. And I think you'd be thrilled if you walked the neighborhood to speak to the constituents who care about this and have been asked for a long time.
Okay. I know that Brian Pizzarillo is not here tonight. I spoke briefly with Tony Costa from DPW. And so I understand, so a traffic study had been done for this stretch, is that correct? Councilman Coyle, do you know?
Yes.
Okay. And do you know what the traffic study indicated?
I spoke to the chief, and he said the engineer, and said it was adequate,
And said what? I'm sorry?
that it was adequate for one way.
Okay. I'd like to get some more information from Brian Pizzarillo, and so I'm hope to do that within the next couple of days before we vote on this. Any other comments? Okay. Moving on to from the business administrator, 7A and B. Comments or questions? Great. 8, Department of Finance, A through G.
Council President?
Yes, Council Vice President.
Just noting on item G, because some people had made comments asking about the third quarter taxes, just so everyone knows that this would prolong any interest rates or you'd be able to pay up to September 1st. It's delaying it 1 month. So I just wanted to make sure that people were aware that if you haven't gotten your third quarter taxes, they should be out in the mail now. And this is pushing back the due date essentially 1 month. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you. Any other council comments or questions? All right, moving on to 9, Department of Health, A. Okay. 10, A through E, Department of Planning and Engineering. All right.
Oh, sorry,
Yeah,
Council
sure.
President. On item D for Farmhaven Avenue, I know that there's the proposed construction of speed humps there, but it's a different variation compared to, I guess, some of the traditional speed humps. Could I ask Tony or the administration just to clarify the difference between those two, so to say?
The difference, Council Vice President, is that the speed humps are a little more gradual as you go up, so it won't be as sudden of a change. They won't necessarily go up, I believe, as high. The spacing will be a little different because, as I'm sure you see frequently with the speed humps, they're usually very high, so people slow down to 5 miles an hour, speed up really quickly. They hit that second one, slow back down. These would be placed more closely together to avoid that same kind of rushing. And the goal of these speed humps is that people can maintain 25 miles an hour going over them. So long as they're going the speed limit, then it shouldn't impact them.
Thank you. And I know you had responded to this, and I just forget. On Farmhaven, there is a street pole that is in the actual street and not behind the curb. Is it intended to curb around the light pole or have that moved?
I believe from what Brian said, then we're going to have to work with PSE&G on that, and it'll kind of be up to them for whether the curb will wrap around that or if it will be relocated.
Thank you. Thank you, Council.
Thank you.
Council President.
Thank you.
Council President,
Yes.
I just wanted to follow up on the speed hump. So the administration open to installing speed humps moving forward? If it's 25 miles per hour with that slowdown?
I believe it's something we'll consider just with these, considerations in mind as well.
Okay, thank you.
11 from the Department of Public Works, A through O. Questions, comments?
Council President?
Yes.
For the Jets building, do we have a breakdown for the flooring, what we're going to do with the flooring? Only because it's like $500,000, right? You can buy a home in Edison for $500,000. So do we have like a breakdown on what each of the rooms cost for the materials you're going to use? I assume you're using the turf, and we're doing it with the tiles only because that way we could take them up so they could play basketball or use it for something else, right? I mean, that's why we're going with tiles in there. But for the rest of the project, do we have like a breakdown for what we're spending in all the rooms, or could we get that?
We can certainly get that for you, Councilman.
Thank you. That would be it, Council
Okay.
President.
Anyone else? Okay. Department of Water and Sewer, number 12, A and B.
Council President?
Council Vice President.
Just for both of these items, just reiterating that this is part of the ACO, the administrative consent order, and I am happy to see that we are moving forward with this, presuming that it gets approved. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay. 13, Chief of Fire.
Council President, I'm sorry.
Yes,
I
go
have a
ahead.
question on B.
Yep.
Is that $6 million or $6,000?
6 million.
6 million.
Yeah.
Because there's a period there. Okay. Thank you.
All right. 13, A, Chief of Fire. All right. 14, A through D from the Chief of Police. All right, from the Township Clerk, we have A and B, the retail consumption liquor license, and the resolution to appoint John Pointer to the Peter Barnes, the Third Wildlife Preserve Commission. Any questions or comments about that? Okay. All right.
President?
Yes.
Sorry, just clarification. We are adding a resolution, I believe?
Well,
Yeah.
I didn't have the original package of
Is that part of,
Richie's.
is that part of A then?
Yes, that's
Okay.
part of it, I'm sorry.
I
yeah.
just want to make sure.
They're the last two, so
Okay.
now we're done with renewing everybody's licenses.
Thank you.
Okay. And 16A, communications letter from the Open Space Advisory Committee. Questions,
Yes.
comments?
Council President? I had a question. What is the administration doing in regards to the encroachment of the dealership onto the property that is supposed to be used for open space?
For which area? Can you repeat that?
The letter from the Open Space Advisory in regards to Potts Road, essentially, I would assume it will state that there is an encroachment onto the open space property by the dealership. I'm guessing that's the Audi. If you look at Potts Road, but either way, there is an encroachment near the Myers Road and next to that Potts Road property, and I was wondering what is the administration is going to do? Are we going to enforce our laws, and are we going to be fining the dealership in regards to it?
I was not aware of that site. We can definitely look into that for you and get you a better answer by Wednesday.
Yes, please do. I will look forward to it. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? All right, we move on to oral petitions and remarks. Yes, Elizabeth?
Elizabeth Conway, 20 Netherwood Circle. I know we were talking about speed humps, but if you drive down Grove Avenue, there's speed cuts. They're about 6 to 8 inches wide, and they go from curb to curb. And I think they're kind of worse than speed humps. So if somebody could look at that, I'd appreciate it. Number 2, thank you to DPW for fixing the mini BVL sign. They took care of the bushes that were there that were actually covering. And I mentioned it to a young man from DPW, and a couple of days later, it was taken care of. I thought that was fabulous. The next thing was, are there any regulations within this district that we can have for like those e-bikes and the quads and the motorbikes? Even on my way over tonight, a motorbike of some sort and a quad went flying around me over the double yellow line to get faster. And neither one of them had helmets on. So are there any regulations to that was my next question. The next one is truck parts. I added it up and it came to $1,230,000. How many trucks do we have that we need to repair overall? To count that kind of money. And I know we did get the last one, we did get something from the township regarding picking up branches from the windstorm, but is there going to be something coming out regarding flood damage for the storm last Monday? And my 2 minutes, so if you want to answer me, I can talk.
You wanted to know with the trucks, how many trucks, what was the question about that?
On the resolutions, it came to $1,230,000. Do we have that many trucks to generate that cost to have parts?
Okay. All right.
It was all different things, but
Right.
they all ultimately were truck parts.
Okay. Let's start with your question about regulating e-bikes and motored vehicles. Do we have, what do we have? Oh, Chief. Good evening.
American Idol. All right. The quads and the dirt bikes are illegal. We have 2C statutes that prohibit them. The assisted electric bicycles are permissible. So if it's a quad going around you, clearly a violation of the law. The same thing with dirt bikes. No helmet. Against the law. Yes.
They just seem to be taking advantage. So,
If it's happening quite often, just simply call us. We'll send a car there or a traffic car. We'll try to determine where they're coming from.
because this was along Plainfield Road when I was coming
Yeah,
over
it's-
tonight, yeah. And what about the flood
All
damage?
right, and thank you, Chief. Do anyone know how many trucks are involved in this particular resolution?
We currently have well over 100 trucks in our fleet, including some specialty equipment, like all the fire trucks and so forth. So maintaining those and some of the parts, especially garbage trucks, hydraulics, et cetera, become very expensive. So
Council
Okay.
President. I have to say, DPW has come a long way when it comes to inventorying parts. If you have a chance to go there, first, you can't get a part unless you enter the parts department and come to the window that's gated, and you're serviced by one person. It's inventoried. Each truck is accounted for the part that they get, and there's a maintenance manual to tell you who's getting what. So it's quite impressive to see what's going on in Edison at a township municipality. You would think you're entering AutoZone. I'm proud to say they have enough parts on standby to do the basic maintenance of brakes, calipers, rotors, shocks. It's quite impressive to see. If you haven't seen it already, I know a few members of the council have seen it on here. It's quite impressive.
Thank you. And then last question was about flood damage. And Tony, are you able to address her question about flood damage? I don't. Do you remember?
There was a thing that came out from
Yeah.
the town about picking up all the branches from the one storm, but I haven't seen anything regarding flood damage from the second storm. Will they be doing that? Now, I'm in a section of town that doesn't have Edison garbage. Am I responsible, should I
Okay.
have needed it, to call my private?
Okay. Yeah. Tony, can you just grab a mic? Thank you. Thanks.
Last one is gross.
Council President, time is up.
Yes, I understand.
We're constantly picking up from the flood damage. For the next 2 to 3 weeks, we'll be out there doing it everywhere throughout all of
Yeah,
town.
the mic, see if the mic's on.
So we're going through the whole town, picking up all garbage from flood damage.
Okay, thank you. All right, Mr. Soot.
Good evening, council members. I'm back again. I know.
Name and address, please.
Yeah, my name is Alok Sood from 2 Quincy Road, Edison.
Thank you.
So this is my 6th or 7th or 8th time. I don't know. I mean, last time I was here, Councilman Coyle mentioned that. I mean, I'm already been here so many times. He doesn't want to see me here for the same issue, but here I am again for the same issue. And Councilman Coyle, I'll appreciate, any help. Last time you said you may repeal it as well. If that's the case. Again, Councilman Pointer, you clearly mentioned it multiple times, what your intent was with this ordinance, and I think you brought this ordinance. So I'll appreciate if you can lead again and clarify it, because right now it's not interpreted properly, as you said, right? Your intention was that if it's neighbor to neighbor, it's a civil issue, township will not enforce it. And the problem is, not only that, I have received certified letters, I've received, the health inspector came multiple times, the zoning inspector came multiple times, and especially on top of it, the legal team, township legal team, they have different answer every day. Like in front of the whole council, the township attorney mentioned that I was not in any violations and I should not receive any violations. Still, it kept going on. Then again, in June, my attorney spoke with Ms. Tomero and another township attorney. And again, he was told it's a civil issue, I should not receive any violations. And he sent a letter on June 21st, or June 19th or 21st, to Ms. Tomero. Haven't received a response yet. And he clearly mentioned in the letter saying, this is what we discussed, and if you disagree, please respond to me as soon as possible. And what happened? The next day, Ms. Tomero sent it to the court instead of responding to the letter. If it was incorrect, she should have responded to him. She did not. So at this point, I don't know, one attorney is saying that it's a violation, the other one saying it's not a violation, then the third one is saying it's not a violation. What is going on? I guess I'm also curious, how much money have we paid as a taxpayer? How much money have we paid to the legal team? Back and forth in the last few months, just on this thing. Because one time they say it's not a violation, the next day they say it's a violation. And you clearly mentioned it's not a violation. And this was your intent. So at this point, I'll request you to clarify it with everyone, what you intended to do, and if needed, if the ordinance needs to be updated or repealed, I'll appreciate if you can please start the process.
Counselor?
It's my understanding that you are currently represented by counsel. It's also my understanding that you have issues perhaps with conflicting advice that you may have received. My best advice to you, after checking with the Director of Law, is to have your attorney contact Mr. Rainone, the Director of Law, and they will do their best to straighten it out for you. I am not going to hash it out with you here. It's obvious that there is differing opinions. It's also obvious that you're concerned, as you have every right to be. But if you're represented by counsel, the best way you can get this resolved is to have your attorney, I believe it's Mr. Roselli, contact Mr. Rainone, who is the actual Director of Law, and they will do their best to resolve the situation for you.
Thank you. So does that mean when Mr. Roselli spoke with Maria Tomero and Michael Burns, it was a waste of time?
I can't answer that. I wasn't part of that conversation.
Michael Burns is also from your organization,
I'm sorry,
right?
the speaker's time is up. I'm
Okay,
sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So can I hear the responses back?
Is there anything more you wanted to add?
I like to
No,
hear
no,
from Mr. Pointer and Mr.
I'm sorry.
Thank you, sir. I've given you all the direction that the Director of Law has instructed our firm to give you. Have the Director of Law directly contacted, and we'll do our best to resolve it for you.
Thank you.
Well,
Thank you. Okay. Yes, Tom?
Thomas Lucky, Netherwood Circle. Two items have reared their ugly head again, which caused me to initially come to the town council meeting a while back, or years back. Once again, dirt bikes and ATVs are riding on Inman Avenue. Last week, it was like Wednesday morning around 10 o'clock, and an ATV drove through the driving range parking lot, came out onto Inman Avenue, didn't care who we pulled in front of, and just drove down Inman Avenue in the middle of the road, in the middle of the lane going towards the railroad tracks. Thursday afternoon, or at 3 o'clock, a person on a dirt bike, once again, is riding his bike, no helmet, no shirt, on Inman Avenue, going towards the railroad tracks. I don't know if they're coming from the power lines down Inman and going on the railroad tracks down by Westgate, but we need to step up the police presence over there, because it's going to create a real mess if one of these kids do get hurt. Secondly, when what brought me here a year or so ago was cricket at John Adams Middle School. I went and came up here, and I came up to talk to you, the board, because adults were playing there. Ball hit my car when I was driving on Inman Avenue. On New Dover Road. I thought that the town council was going to go and to work with the school board, put up a sign saying, no adult play. I understand, little middle schoolers, I don't believe that they can hit the ball, where the wickets are to go into New Dover Road. It's a safety hazard. It needs to be addressed. Elizabeth also brought up the situation on Grove Avenue. I call them inverted speed bumps. I guess when the contractors open up the road, they put down the initial paving or macadam. That needs to be finished off. It's a mess right around Calvert Avenue. Little thing, the monies that are being allocated for the turf at the Edison Sports Complex, whatever you call that, is that part of the original budget, or is that an extra? Because that facility is hemorrhaging money and taxpayers' money, which needs to be addressed. And if I could get an answer, if that's part of the a budgeted line item, or if that's an extra, that'd be greatly appreciated. And then last is the 1.8 million dollars for the sewer. Is that coming out of the sewer budget, or is that coming out of the general ledger account? You should that, because if it doesn't affect all the Edison taxpayer who have different water companies, but I just was wondering where that money is being appropriated from. And then there's a lot of line items that have, nice round numbers. Are they not to exceed? Are they budgeted numbers? How are those numbers derived? We need to have some fiscal responsibility and try to, tighten our belts a little bit, because money's going to start getting tight. Don't want taxes going up. We need to be smart about our spending in this town. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, let me take these. You said these are line items, they are not to exceed?
Yes, because
Okay.
they're a bid. they're not
Okay,
to exceed.
all right. So to your question about the line items, those are not to exceed numbers
On the bids.
on the bids. I'm working backwards from your questions. So Bob Smith, 1.8 million for the sewer, what budget, or whomever you can,
That'll come out of the sewer utility budget.
okay, thank you. The turf, the resolution about the turf money for the sports building, is this an add-on, or was this originally budgeted?
That was part of the improvement authorization that was adopted last year.
Okay, all right. Cricket at John Adams, something about with the adult play. Any thoughts on how that could be remedied?
We can certainly look into that. It is going to be Board of Ed jurisdiction will take precedent, but we will reach out and see if that's something that they can do.
Okay. Chief Bryan, the concern about the dirt bikes and ATVs on Inman?
Thanks. We will gladly deploy selective enforcement there.
Okay. Thank you very much. Okay, thank you. Anyone else? No, go ahead. Sure.
The inverted speed humps.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. I'm not sure who is best to respond to that.
I will, I don't know if you want to add to it, or Chief? Yeah, the chief will police chief will send out a car to take a look at it.
Okay.
Well, I think it'd be engineering. So we've been talking about this for, 4 months, 5 months. The new company's coming in, they're putting cable in. It's not just them, but the new company came in and put cable all throughout the town. And they dig across the town and they open up these trenches. I know Brian was made aware of them. Right, and what they did was they didn't actually tamp them down, they just patched them. But Brian said that they're supposed to fix every one of them, but we haven't gotten an update as to what the administration is going to do with that. So I think it'd be Brian and engineering that you need to check with on that one.
Thank you.
Council President.
Yes.
I think most of us know that immediately when a road is cut, when it's patched, we have a time frame before it compresses. So we wouldn't seal it even if we could seal it right away, because it would sink. So there's a timeline. Just take a statement from the engineer. I'm not an engineer, but that's what we're told.
You can compact any hole and
Okay,
go do that.
listen.
But as long as they come back and do it, you're right.
I forgot.
You're
Again,
right.
I'm not a certified engineer. Just speak from an engineer that told me the last time, and I think a few members of the council may know it as well. That's the process, but hey, what do I know, Rich?
Thank you. All right. Yes, Joel?
It's true. He said he was going to go make them do it. But they can, and they should.
Joel Bassoff, Beach Lane. I have a question about Edison's affordable housing obligation. Mr. Gordon's partner, Mr. Mincello, at several previous meetings made representations that Edison is immune from builder's remedy lawsuits, and that he was pursuing a plan to have the court issue a declaratory judgment stating that Edison either had a zero obligation or something less than the over 700 affordable unit obligation that the state has determined that Edison is responsible for in the fourth round of affordable housing. However, I've seen that a builder's remedy lawsuit has been filed against Edison on behalf of two developers. So cynics in the public would wonder how Edison is being adequately defended against these developers that want to invalidate Edison's zoning laws in order to put up large housing complexes with a small number of affordable housing units. The proposed set-asides are only 20%. Ultimately, if Edison is responsible for over 700 units, we're going to see massive development of multifamily complexes in places that we're not zoned for and that we're not prepared to have the infrastructure for. So the question is, why did Edison not follow the original state-imposed deadlines for getting repose and certainty from these state-imposed affordable housing obligations? If a study was conducted that's now being presented to the court, it seems that that could have been incorporated into a resolution back in January, which would have preserved Edison's immunity in terms of the numbers of affordable housing units that we would be obligated to accept. And then why did Edison not modify its master plan for the June 30th deadline, which then would have protected Edison against builders' remedy lawsuits, and we would know, to the extent that we do have an affordable housing obligation, we would know where the affordable housing has to go. So to cynics in the public who might say that Edison's representatives are actually trying to give the builders an opening to invalidate our zoning laws and build huge numbers of units wherever they want, and that we're just giving them an opportunity to do that while presenting an image that we're fighting back vigorously. But then the idea is just we'll say that, oh, well, we tried to limit the amount of affordable housing, we tried to limit the overdevelopment, but a judge forced us to do that. What would be the answer to the cynics that say that that's the actual game plan? And while I still have a few seconds left, I noticed that rules of decorum are posted on the door outside, and that presents a potential First Amendment problem to the extent that it says that personal attacks or slander would not be permitted against township employees. So one person's perception of what constitutes slander or personal attack could be another person's perception of what's legitimate criticism of a public official. If someone's being slandered, they can sue, but it's not for the council to make those decisions.
Thank you. Counselor, can you address Joel's issues here?
I can at least give some answers. The affordable housing legislation that was adopted approximately January of 2024 gave municipalities two options. You could go through the program, which the statute set up, and what you've referred to is that was an option, or you could follow the traditional declaratory judgment action seeking approval from the courts themselves without going through the intermediate stage of the program. Some of your comments are disingenuous. That lawsuit, the declaratory judgment action, was filed about 3 weeks ago. Once the filing of that takes place, the township has immunity from builders' remedy lawsuits. The township had continuing immunity from builders' remedy lawsuits through June 30th, 2025. If there are currently pending builders' remedy lawsuits, while the temporary immunity was in place, a motion will be filed with the court to have those dismissed while the declaratory judgment action works its way through the process. Best you're going to get from me. You might not like it, but it's an option. It is an option that was authorized by the New Jersey legislature and has been the declaratory judgment option that's been followed at least since 2015, when the Council on Affordable Housing was declared to be moribund and no longer in effect. So we're following, the township is following basically what happened in the last round.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Council President, and it's your decision, but as a member of the council, I don't think we should be having an attorney tell the public our play to our adversary in a lawsuit. So we should refrain from discussing this matter. It's a public lawsuit, and it'll go through its channels. I trust the director of law that we hired, and I'm sure this council does, but to have to answer direct questions of something that's going to be a public part of the court proceedings that they can attend if they choose to, I don't think is part of this forum. That's just my opinion.
Thank you. All right. I'm sorry, Mr. Sood, you spoke, or, no, I'm sorry, you cannot be speaking from the audience. Sir? Okay, yes, sir. Name and address, please.
Matthew Smith, Prospect Avenue.
Okay, can you speak a little bit closer to the microphone?
Matthew Smith,
Very good.
Prospect Avenue.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, so on July 8th, there was a federal immigration official raid on a business in Edison. They dragged people out of their cars and demanded to see papers. They detained several to this very day. My understanding of New Jersey law is there is not even a stop and identify statute within the state. And I can see, based on all accounts, that this raid was a gross violation of Fourth Amendment rights. So my question is, what did this administration do to try to prevent that? And what are they doing in the future? Because as far as I can tell, it completely failed.
Thank you, sir. A very good question. Administration or chief want to address this?
Yes, that's a federal entity. We have nothing to do with that. We don't get involved with it. We received a call on that specific day from the FBI. They said they were going to be in our town. They did not tell us where. They did not give us any information. They requested no assistance. So you know as much about it as we do. We don't get involved with them at all.
I mean, I find it very concerning that if there are officials claiming to be federal, even if they are federal officials, if they come to New Jersey and violate Fourth Amendment rights, that's still against the law.
Okay. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Council President?
Oh, yes.
I had a question for council. Can the council here pass anything along the lines of that, anyone trying to stop and, like police officers or ICE officers would have to stop and identify themselves? And would that be enforced to a federal level, or would that not be enforced?
Okay.
That's a very large question, couched in very small terms. And my impression is that direct issue will make it through the federal courts, but we're not there yet. And it's also my understanding that as a municipality, we are subject to federal supremacy, and we can't control what the federal government does.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Okay. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Am I recognized?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'm going to direct this, I guess, through the chair to the chief of police and Councilman Richard Brescher, possibly even Councilman Joe Coyle.
Okay.
I like that it's a more welcoming atmosphere here today. It's not militarized. You don't have 100 cops in here for no reason for 2 residents. God bless this young lady here. Is she the BA? New BA? It's a yes or no?
No, she's not the BA.
Not, well, you know, at least we have someone here with some professionalism and, you know, I believe having her here is even creating an even safer environment. So, but I want to get back to what this is posted outside the doors. And this I'll address through the chair to Councilman Brescher. When speaking on resolutions, ordinances, members of the public must address only these issues. Members of the public can speak on any topic they wish during oral petitions and remarks, but here comes the but, so you can't really speak on anything. But we very much welcome your feedback. What we will not, under any circumstances, be tolerating will be personal attacks, harassment, intimidation, slander, and any perceived threats or threatening behavior against members of the council, BA, and any public safety or other department officials. Councilman Brescher, what I think they tried to do here is when the corrupt business administrator filed false charges on me, filed a false police report that she was never charged with a crime for, they were trying to shut members of the public up from speaking about it, even to the point where people came up with audio of the BA's own voice threatening members of the public. That was not allowed to be played. I don't think it's a personal attack when I come up here with victorious, glorious victory against the false VASPA order that she filed against me. Councilman Brescher, here we had a BA, a government official, filed a false report against me and claimed that I threatened to bring guns to council meeting. She also claimed various other things that didn't hold up in court because it was complete bullshit. But at the end of the day, I mean, they actually dragged me to family court to ask me questions. They showed me anonymous postings in a group forum out in Florida. I guess she was trying to get a job out in Florida, where some random person made some comments. So now she's trying to throw me in court for some comments some random person made. So because the BA is corrupt and people got to see her corruption all over America, that's my fault. Anytime somebody makes a statement or warns future employers that this woman's corrupt, she files false police reports on people. She weaponizes the police department that she's in charge of. What a bad thing to file a false sexual harassment and claim lewdness and all these other things. I mean, here we took a shield for sexual assault weapons and actually used it as a sword aimed at going after critics of the government. And they used it very tactically because they were able to keep me for how many weeks from coming to the council meetings or filing tort claims or filing ethics complaints. So what you guys did is it's absolutely scumbag behavior, and I can't wait for the BA to be fired. And I'm going to be screaming the top of my lungs, BA Sonia Alves Vivieros is corrupt.
Thank you. Okay, can I get a motion to close the public portion?
Motion to close the public portion.
Second?
Just back there.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Go ahead, I'm so sorry. Name and address, please.
Sarah Fryer, Prospect Ave.
Thank you.
So I noticed a couple of months ago that there was I don't know what, I guess like a telephone pole or like a wooden pole that was leaning what looks to me leaning far over the, what do you call it? It's Rosewood Road and Boulevard of the Eagles. I did call in May. I made a call saying that this was a problem, and it looked to me like it would be a problem. I don't know if it's still like that, even after all that rain and flood and wind, but I wanted to know if that was ever fixed because it looks like it was gonna fall over then, and if it's still there, it probably is going to fall over. And I did try calling to see if anyone would fix it. But I haven't, as far as I know, no one did.
Anything else?
No, not really.
Okay, all right, it was Boulevard of Eagles and what was the cross street?
I guess Boulevard of the Eagles and Rosewood. Yeah,
Okay.
Rosewood Road.
Okay, thank
It's
you.
right by the schools.
Okay, any follow-up on this?
I'm not familiar with this in particular, but we can definitely get you an answer by Wednesday.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay. Now motion to close public portion?
Motion to close the public portion.
Second?
Second.
Okay, thank you very much.
Council President,
Yes.
can I just address Mr. Seward's questions that
Sure.
he had before?
Yes,
I
yes.
didn't
Yes.
get a chance. Our conversations are documented, both here and in email, as to the intent of the ordinance. As Mr. Bastoff had said when he was referencing on the slander aspect, right, is not on council's behalf to state whether something is slanderous or not slanderous. Much like in your circumstance, I cannot tell you, because I haven't honestly seen any photos or anything. I'm just going off of the communications that we've received. I cannot tell you whether you are in violation or not in violation. And we've had the public discussion of that would play out in the judicial system to whether it is or it is not. Is it my intent to try to cause harm or anything like that? No, I just want to make sure people have certain protections on their property and such. But from an enforcement aspect, I am limited in my position as a council member. I tried to have the conversations with my colleagues to craft it in a way to avoid certain circumstances. It is not to say that that is a 100% like foolproof. Some of the feedback that you provided before makes it seem like there may actually have been pre-existing bamboo on the other property, which in that case then is not encroachment on your end. It was already there, right, and would be subject to them. But again, I have not seen that, and to me, that would be something that would be brought up in the judicial review of the issue and then determined there. So I just wanted to at least respond, because I know I didn't get to before. I know we're out of public comment, so I'm not trying to be rude and stifling any additional comment, but I wanted to at least address. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you, Council Vice President. No, I'm sorry. All right, we move on to council committees and board commission liaison reports. Councilman Brescher?
None.
Okay, Councilman Coyle?
None.
Councilman Patel?
Yes, I had an open space committee meeting, and we had some updates. Let me just find it. For the JCP&L, the multi-use trail, which is, just as a reminder, that's the one that's going to connect Papiani Park to the Edison High School. The administration has prepared an RFP for the survey services, which is planned to be distributed to the professionals next week. And once they have that survey in place, they will begin a formal design of the bikeway. And assuming everything stays on track, the administration should have the bids later this year with spring construction. So that project is moving along. The Stephenville Island Path, engineering is looking at it. They have a concept about 75% completed. Since the portion of this path will be directly over Enbridge pipeline, there are some guidance and restrictions that he's going to look into to further out. And now that leaves to the bike rack at the municipal complex. I know Tony's not here, but Tony was supposed to give me an update. But essentially, he's working on some plantings of the flowers and stuff such, which he's hoping to be done with, and then they'll discuss the final location of the bike rack. At the same time, he told me about that there are bike racks along the lines of the Papiani Park and where the skateboard park is. So that's good progress, but one of the reasons we wanted it at the municipal complex building was because, A, not everyone has a car, so people who do commute to here for public services and would like to park their bike, they should have a spot. And B, the annual bike tour between Edison and Metuchen starts at this location, and it's only fair that we have at least a bike racks here, especially if we started here. That's about it for me for open space.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Patil?
None at this time.
Okay. Councilman Shmuel?
Not at the moment.
Okay. Council Vice President?
Thank you, Council President. I got an update from the Human Relations Commission. They are going to be participating in the National Night Out on August 5th. So they were discussing, exactly what they are going to be doing for that event. And their next meeting is going to be September 9th at 7 p.m. here in Council Chambers. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you. Okay. For myself, animal shelter, we had for June 25 adoptions, 25 cats, 8 dogs. The shelter count as of the end of June was 15 dogs, 32 kittens, and 15 adult cats. The good news was that unlike the unfortunate situation in Plainfield with their animal shelter, the flooding of last week caused no issues for our shelter, and we had an ACO checking in during the storm. Along the lines of the animal shelter, I received an email, I think we all received an email on this council, about the Best Friends Animal Society, and wanted to inform us that the Edison Animal Shelter has achieved or maintained a 90% save rate for calendar year 2024. Your local shelter has joined an elite group of organizations across the country leading the way towards making the United States a no-kill nation. To honor this achievement, we've sent the organization a packet with an award plaque or certificate, digital badge, and window cling. So this was sent by Claudia Perrone, who is the manager of creative content marketing for Best Friends Animal Society. So I want to give a shout out to our animal shelter for doing such a good job. The Edison Cultural Arts Commission meeting was held on July 8th. And so the first thing is that a reminder, the Jazz Festival is going to be held at Ulensis Park on Friday, August 1st from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. As of now, the current acts are going to be the Edison High School Alumni Jazz Band. They will be up first. Now, there's a possibility, I found out today, that they might not have enough people. They said that people have not been showing up for rehearsals. If that's the case, we might substitute them out for Christine McCann. Her daughter is a professional dancer, and so we might be substituting the jazz band out with Christine McCann to do some jazz dance. The other act, the main act, is going to be Winnard Harper is Winnard Harper is the headliner, performing from 7 to 8:30 p.m. So again, that's at Ulensis Park. What's good about that is that there's coverage. There's a pretty ample coverage for there that has a ceiling. Hopefully, we'll have good weather for that. But inviting everyone to come. We also, at that event, want to create a survey with a QR code for people to fill out for future event ideas. For next year, with the Jazz Festival, we're talking about April of 2026, and so Dan Reed from Recreation is going to be meeting with us at some point. We figured that doing the festival during the school year would be more beneficial to include students, and so Dan will be attending the August 5th Edison Cultural Arts Commission meeting. If done in April, of course, an indoor venue needs to be obtained. Still looking for applications for the gallery downstairs that has been woefully empty. And anyone that has some ideas that would be for a theme for the gallery, we really would love to entertain those. So you can find the application online at the Edison website through the Edison Cultural Arts Commission. We are still looking for PSE&G boxes to be painted, have some art put on them as other communities have done. Finally, the founder of Rise Up Community Arts want to do a swing event in the museum at the Edison Center on on October 11th. They would love to work with our commission on future collaborations and possibly be interested in joining our board. So Tony suggested an invite to our September 9th meeting. That is the end of my committee reports. We move on to points of light. Any points of light? Councilman Patil?
I think today is Mayor Joshi's birthday.
Yes,
Wish him very, very happy birthday.
we do. Happy birthday, Mayor Joshi, from all of us.
Happy birthday.
All right, okay, that erases one of mine. Okay, anyone else for points of light?
Council President?
Yes.
I just wanted to say the 4th of July celebration and at Pat Baden Park was a tremendous opportunity for the neighbors to get together with residents and nearby towns. It was just wonderful. The great job the administration does, recreation, DPW, fire, police. Traffic, the traffic department is unbelievable. If you take a look around at the evening of the event and at the beginning of the event, what they do there is amazing. The flow of traffic and moving, thousands of cars through Edison is just quite amazing. You can get a view of this fireworks from any part of the town nearby this Route 27 corridor. So congratulations. Thank you very much for providing that, and this council supporting events like this. Super important. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Any other points of light? Okay, I have a few. First of all, I want to give a big thank you and shout out to Department of Public Works, especially during that flash windstorm on July 3rd. A lot of trees came down, including in my own yard. And they did a great job. They worked overtime. They worked really hard to clean up all the mess that was created by that flash storm. And then, of course, last week we had the flash flooding. So once again, DPW, Public Safety, you all did a great job. We are so proud of our department, of these departments. I also want to notify you that the first Latin Music Festival is going to be Saturday, July 26th from 4 to 8 p.m. at the Old Stewart's Lot on 922 Amboy Avenue. The Jazz Festival, as mentioned before, is August 1st, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. or 8:30 p.m., I think, at Ulensis Park. National Night Out, I think that was not included. It was August 5th, did we say? Is that right? August 5th, I think, is National Night Out. And the House Music Festival is August 23rd, 3 p.m. to 10 p.m. at Papiani Park. The last thing I want to point out is I had received an email from Assemblyman Sturley Stanley, who indicated that that Senator Diagnan, Assemblyman Karabinchik, and Assemblyman Stanley secured $1.65 million in state funding for Edison Township, and that is to go to Edison Light Transit and for the rehab of the Stoughton Community Center. So that's very welcome news. They've done a lot for our township, and we thank them for their attention to that. We move on to discussion items. Councilman Brescher, anything?
Not at this time.
Okay. Councilman Coyle?
Thank you, Council President. I'm still in shock. I wasn't sure if I had my glasses or not. Did not see anything written under Councilman Brescher's area here, so I just want to take a brief pause, perhaps a moment of silence. Thank you. I'm just going to stick to affordable housing, Council President. I listened to some residents, and tonight I again listened to a particular resident who believes housing is detrimental. It ruins neighborhoods. He makes different statements from time to time, maybe not word for word for what I just said, but I never have heard him come up and discuss that housing is good for Edison. I am for affordable housing, and when the courts look through our records and they go through town by town to make decisions on what this town should provide, we should be obligated to do that. I am not supporting manipulating the courts to try to massage and give less or give more. I think we should give what we deserve to give to those who can afford to have an opportunity to live in Edison. You know, Edison is on the rise. For the many people that have come up here and say, a new home in your neighborhood is detrimental, it obviously has not talked to an economist or a real estate, investor or a professional real estate agent, because homes sell in Edison. What you bought in Edison in 1990 today is, what was purchased in 1990 for $150,000 is worth about $750,000 in some neighborhoods. So I have yet to see someone come to this podium with the value of their property where they lost or had some professional opinion or expert come with them and say, we're losing money because the house next to me. I never hear someone come in and talk about Metuchen and how many building complexes are built in Metuchen, which is a nearby neighbor. And hundreds have been built there, hundreds. So to my fellow colleagues, I think most of the council knows I support affordable housing. I can't wait to see more being built. And let's just look at this. When we build 500, only 100 goes towards affordable housing. That's insane. 100 people get a chance to live in an affordable home as we build 500, and it takes us forever to get to 500. So this is inch by inch. So I'm sad to hear when people come to the microphone and make statements and look at how we should manipulate the court system so we defend not giving people the opportunity. It's sad to even listen to it. So I hope one day it happens and we get a chance to have some good units here in Edison, for those who want to give a shot of ownership, home ownership in Edison. And again, I would hope one day people come to the microphone and talk about what's happening around Edison, because, I'm sad to hear we're just pointing the finger at this administration as if, it's just Edison and everything happens in Edison. But if you look around, they're building around us, okay, by the thousands in North Brunswick, New Brunswick, in East Brunswick. I'm often wondering whether the people who come to the microphone drive outside of Edison. So I'm sad to hear it when I listen to residents discuss not giving affordable housing a chance in Edison. So that's all I have to say, and I'm looking forward to it one day. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Councilman Patel?
So the Potts Road was already brought up. Kat, I emailed you and Sonia the email. So hopefully we can have answers soon. I think that's about it. Thank you.
Okay. Councilman Patil?
Thank you, Council President. I think, some of those we already covered, the Comcast road damages, so if you can please follow up on that. There is an email from one of the residents who continue to follow up with this council. And I think if administration can follow up with his request to see, how we can help him on closing that. Utilities, water, PACG, road patches, this is something, the reverse speed hump we spoke all along from Oak Tree Road on Grove Avenue towards Metuchen. Again, I did send an email to Sonia. If you can please get us an update to see through the engineering, how soon we can address that one. The next one is Culvert and Grove next steps, that intersection. This has been discussed for months. I think the traffic study was done. It was socialized with the neighbors, and I think there was some sort of action that was supposed to be happening there, whether it's a flashlight, I don't know, whatever what's proposed there. But if you can please follow up on that and update to me next council meeting. The next one is Grove Street speed reduction. I think this was again socialized among the council members. I know Councilman Patel, you were open to look into that. Again, this will be, we can socialize internally again to see, if we can modify that current ordinance, which limits the speed limit is very small section, and if you can extend that through from Metuchen all the way to the Inman or at least to the Oak Tree Road. The next one is adopt the street common area for cleanup. Do we know anyone has signed up so far? Through Council President question, anyone has signed up for?
I'm not familiar, but we can definitely get you an
Okay, if you can check. And if there is any process that can be, if it's outline process or the standard steps, if you can please share that as well. There is a resident who reached out, she did ask me that is anyone cleaning the litters? And I said, no, we do have the program, possibly if you would like to volunteer, we are more than welcome, but she did ask for the steps, so if you can send those one. And the last one is flooding, JP Stevens. Anytime there is a flash flood or there's a flood, this area always floods. And I think we have many areas in Edison Township that do flood, but this is next to the school. And it's very important that we should address this on a priority. So if you can please follow up on that, if this is part of 2025 budget, if anything is happening on engineering study or anything is moving on this part. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you very much. Councilman Shmuel, anything?
None. Thank
Okay.
you.
All right, very good. Council Vice President?
Thank you, Council President. In light of the recent storms and the flooding that occurred, I just wanted to put out there, I think that there are a couple of small tweaks that we can do to our stormwater management code that may assist in some of these items going forward. Now, it's kind of like the old adage, like, when does someone actually turn gray, right? You get one hair, you get two hairs, yada, yada. And it's just a small little aspect of what we can do. And what I meant by that was, like, even though we're just one township in 565, it could help big term. I would be interested in us adopting an ordinance that makes it, incentivizes pervious surfacing, so that it allows for water to be able to actually go through the surface and enter into the ground. Right now, a lot of new developments don't allow for the water to actually go anywhere outside of where it drains out. Councilman Coyle, when he was visiting Texas to help with the flooding situation there, sent me a picture of some of the townships, what they do there in regards to pervious paving for parking spots. So I would be interested if we could implement something like that into our current code. They call it low-impact development standards, so just something for consideration. Councilman Patil had brought up about the utility companies and paving. Is another item that Councilman Brescher has brought up in the past about the actual patchwork. The resident that had reached out had responded back to me separately about possibly looking at Westfield's code, because they have some modifications in terms of the infrared patching language in their code that is slightly different than ours. So just something for us to take a look at. A little while ago, we had gotten a request from a church at Chapel Street. We had done a parking ordinance so that there was no parking during certain times, but it's having a negative impact on their facility and their outings there. They are understanding of the reason for the parking ordinance, but had reached out to see if we can modify it to try to work with them to kind of achieve both. Doesn't seem that we have any update on that, but I'll forward that request. I had someone reach out about the farmer's market. I know that this year it was canceled because of lack of vendors. Just curious if we have any plans in the future to try to reposition ourselves to have a successful farmer's market, because I don't think like Tuesday at 2 o'clock is really prime time for people to get fruits and vegetables. And finally, spending accounts for boards and committees. Some of our boards don't have line items in our budget, so just something in the future to try to provide to them so that they can be as equipped as possible to serve the community. Thank you, Council President, and sorry for the bad hair analogy.
Council President?
Yes.
I did want to piggyback off that comment about the spending accounts for
Yes.
boards and committees. Is there a possibility for, let's say, Human Relation Committee, because they are specifically asked me that they needed some budget to, for flyers and such. What is the process to get that to them?
Yes, I want to, let me direct that to administration.
provide a specific request to us, we could address it. We may be able to accommodate something this year in the 25 budget through budget transfers, or make sure that something's included in 2026.
Thank you.
Okay, all right. I'm going to be working backwards and adding one. And the first one is Council Vice President mentioned about Councilman Coyle having gone to Texas. And I would be remiss if I did not send out a thanks, and I think this would be on behalf of the entire council, for Councilman Coyle's willingness to volunteer to help with the flooding in Texas. Councilman Coyle, how long were you down in Texas?
I think about five
Into the microphone? Thanks.
5 nights.
5
nights.
5 nights. Can you just share a little bit about what you were able to do and what that was like?
It catches me off guard here a little bit, but the people of Texas are just wonderful. That's all I could say. They're wonderful people, strong people. Like I mentioned before to others who have an interest in or a passion to volunteer one day, if you're waiting for permission from government to say, please come and help us, this is never going to happen. It's a huge liability to ask you to come to a particular incident. But you'd be surprised how many people are there. So when you drive down the local roads there, you'll see, and what I witness is the local VFW is doing something, the local churches are doing something, and it just goes on and on. So from cooking food to separating supplies, that's what I witnessed a lot of volunteers doing. People got a chance to walk different parts of the river. The river is miles and miles long. I've gotten a chance to run around and get parts for different people, bring water to people. It was a dynamic group of volunteers who just were committed to help out, from nurses to nurse practitioners to regular people like us, and different contractors were there. But government agencies were in a different section, but there was areas where just were volunteers. Sorry, I don't have a bit-by-bit detail.
That's
people were walking. People cared to walk the river to see if they could find someone, a lost member of a family. So people were definitely caring and walking delicately, slow. And there were 700 people in the team that I worked with. And then there were different areas around the town. So if you get anything from it, please get involved in volunteering. You can. Yeah. I expected to spend $2,500 in my time. And I think I spent about $1,700 or $1,800. And they fed me good. People in Texas love barbecue. I'll tell you that. I definitely gained about 12 pounds. And they also gave me some housing. Someone gave us a cabin to sleep in. Very generous people. So I expected to pay for that myself too, but there's a place to sleep and have fresh coffee in the morning, so black coffee. So sorry I didn't give you all the details, but
No, that's great.
and
Thank you.
I didn't do it for this announcement, but I just want people to get involved in volunteering.
Thank you so much. That was really a wonderful, wonderful thing to do. We're proud of you. Thank you so much. Going on to the condition of now I put down West Calvert. I don't go down East Calvert very often, but West Calvert, I'm noticing, is really in pretty bad shape. Apparently there were some pipes that had been put in at some point, but it's a pretty rickety street for such a major street. And I wonder, is that on the paving list at all?
We'll check on that and let you know by
Okay,
Wednesday
yeah,
evening.
it's, for a big street, it's really not in acceptable condition. Missing lettering on the Menlo Park Firehouse, it's kind of pathetic. There's a lot of letters missing there. And I'm wondering if we can get that fixed. I don't know, Chief?
Over the last year, letters started falling off. I talked to the DPW. They took it down. We're looking for a solution to re-letter it now, but right now there's no letters up there as of today.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're working on trying to match that.
Is there any kind of temporary sign that can be put up there in the meantime?
I'm working with Tony from DPW,
Yeah.
so we'll get an answer and we'll let you know Wednesday, but we'll hopefully get one up in a timely fashion.
Yeah, I hope, even if it's temporary, to have something up there, but I'm glad that that's
Agreed.
being addressed. Thank you. All right, finally, the big one, public speaking time. week after week, except for not this one yet, but week after week, we have residents coming up to the podium and asking, begging, pleading for their 6 minutes to be restored. Not one time since this ordinance had been passed have we had anyone come up to the podium who has said, nah, this is good, you should keep it at 4 minutes. The 4 minutes is enough. Not one time. And so I need for us to address this. I want to have a discussion about this. I've said this all along, that it's never been about the number of minutes. It's about the way the minutes are managed. And I think you can see that by and large, I've run a pretty tight ship here, and that we haven't had the hijinks that had been going on in the past. And part of the reason for that is, and this is credit to my fellow council members, that there has not been a back and forth when there's some kind of when there's a bait being thrown at us. And I really appreciate the fact that this council has been good about just letting people have their say. Now, the argument from some of my council members is that, well, most people don't use most people are done in less than 4 minutes. That may be true, but first, I've said this before, people don't like for something that they had to be taken away. And so if people want to speak for 6 minutes, then even if the vast majority will speak for 4 minutes or less, there are others who need and want that time. And I think we can manage this now. I think we've got the formula for how to manage the public speaking time. So we, on council, when we have, whether it's our discussion items, we can go on and on and on and on. We don't have any restrictions on our time. And to make matters worse, I go back to the June 25th meeting when we were delayed by about 36 minutes because there were council members who had not informed me in advance that they were not going to be attending or they were going to be very late. And this was an inconvenience. This held up the people who attended that meeting. And it doesn't matter whether 4 or 40 people. This is the public, this is for the public. And so if we are serving the public and the public has come up time after time to ask for that time back, then I think we should heed that without anyone in the public having opposed having that time back. And so I want to open this up. I would really like to put this back on for a repeal and to restore the 6 minutes. And I'd like to hear publicly from my council members. So I open the floor to anyone who wants to speak on this.
Okay, Council President, from the beginning, 2 minutes, 4 minutes, 6 minutes, actually 10 minutes. I don't mind listening to the public. So I was against us changing it to begin with. At the end of the day, the public comes here when there's an outcry, when they feel they can't get answers, when they feel frustrated. When we create laws that create problems, and that does happen. But as an elected official, I think that we're supposed to be here to listen to it. So if there was a way to change that, I'm not opposed to changing it. I don't mind staying here for an extra 10 minutes. That would be it.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Council President?
Yes.
So you know how I voted on the measure. What I would ask is for some courtesy my way in the sense of showing me some of the data that I provided when the initial ordinance was going up. How many people have not been able to finish their thoughts? How many people are actually making the requests from people that attend the meetings? I'd like to know what other municipalities have 6 minutes, because I did that research in courtesy to really evaluate what is the environment to try to have a productive meeting here. And I provided those findings to the subcommittee and to this council. That same type of information is not like sent back my way in terms of to validate, hey, why is 6 minutes the most appropriate thing? We had originally said that we were potentially okay with 5 minutes, but when we brought that to you, you were not in favor of that. And that's fair and that's fine. Just to put it out there, I had suggested putting speaking limits on council members, and I was shut down by the subcommittee. So I'm actually in favor of that, because much like how we request for members of the public to be concise in their thoughts and speaking, we likewise should be concise in how we speak and talk about topics. So that would be it. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Council President, I think this topic has been discussed before, and I don't think there has been new findings to my eyes. I have not seen something that a person could not have communicated, and only if the council would have given them 2 more minutes, it would have changed the conversation. Yes, if you give someone 10 minutes, they can talk for 10 minutes. If you give them 15 minutes, they can talk for 15 minutes. So why 6 minutes is the perfect time, and why is 4 minutes a worse time? I think it's, again, subjective. And if you look at it from a subjective perspective, it has been voted on by the same council, and we have already come to a conclusion on what we believe is the right time. Now, if you can argue that, hey, the council gets to talk for much longer than the public, I believe that's because they have been voted in to have an opinion on certain subject. But yet, I am very mindful, and I keep my conversation very brief. And again, I leave to the rest of my colleagues to use their time wisely and be concise, and that is okay as well. But again, I don't see anything new, and I am still open to it. If I find a situation where a resident that comes up and feels that they did not communicate everything they wanted, but I have not found that situation to be true. And since that hasn't been true, I haven't changed my mind. But if that situation arises, I am open to changing my mind. Thank you.
Then with all due respect, Councilman Patel, then you haven't been listening, because time after time, people have talked about how frustrated they are in being cut off at 4 minutes and not having a rebuttal. And so I don't know where you've been that you haven't heard that from the public, time after time after time. Yes, I'm bringing this up again. It has been voted on. I'm bringing it up again because it is something that is a constant drumbeat from the public. And so we are here to serve the public. And so, and to you, what you said, Council Vice President, what other townships do is personally is no concern to me. I want to do what works for our residents. Now, the school board, they allow 6 minutes of time. If you want to do a comparison, more apples to apples of what goes on in our township. The school board is a 6-minute public speaking time. So those are just my thoughts on that. Anyone else who want to weigh in on this?
I'll be brief. My vote's not going to change. I think you've done a great job leading this council, and I think you've done a great job working with the public, each member who's come up here to speak, giving them the chance to speak, and also answering their questions. I think this entire council has been available to everyone and anyone 6 minutes or 4 minutes to speak to them after the meeting, to engage in a mindful conversation about what their issue is. The administration's been available 100%. The mayor has met with objectors that still disagree with him today. He met with them 9 times in the Claire Barton section. individual meetings with them. He sat down with them. I sat down with them. I think we're doing a great job when it comes to communication with the 7 to 12 people who are here, who come here on average. I don't think we have more attendance than 15 on average, but I don't think we should be believing that the 7 to 12 who come here represent the opinion of the public and those who watch, the 1,000 viewers who watch this meeting and may want to see the meeting be productive. So it would not be fair to say the 7 to 12 dictate what the public wants. I mean, it's fair. There's 7 to 12 in here. I know the top 7 complaints they talk about, 15 complaints we hear most, but we can't just believe that. I mean, they could make it a referendum if they want and have a public vote on it in November if they get enough votes. But I think we're doing a pretty good job, and it's been 6 months, and I think you've done a wonderful job as council president. And I mean, you're welcome to put it back up. I'll be voting no because I think it's working, and I think we have to give things a chance. And I truly believe this mayor, this administration has been there for every resident who's had an interest for something that may have went over their time or needed more qualified quantity time. We've given it to them. I mean, we've met with them. So thank you.
I would just remind you, Councilman Coyle, that the people who come here want to be on record. They want that time so that they can be on record. Yes, there are people who watch the meeting through Edison TV and all of that. They don't get to have a say. They can certainly come here and have a say, but the people who are here want to be on public record, and that's the difference. Anyone else?
Council.
No. We'll go. Councilman Patil.
No, go ahead.
Councilman
Go ahead,
Patil.
Councilman.
Thank you, Council President. As I have said earlier, my position is very clear. Don't fix if it is not broken. So it was working for all year long. Yes, we had some turbulence here and there, but it's not about just a 6 minute, but it's about finishing the thought process. And many people here who come, they may be new, they may not even know when to stop and what to say. The big thing we took out was the rebuttal. That also is not a good thing. I think, one of the gentlemen here wanted to ask question when there was a different opinion. That was also not a good thing. Again, net saving, I don't think we saved a lot. It's handful people. I agree with Councilman Kyle, everyone is open, available to answer anyone's question. But there are people coming here, they are taking their time out from their family. They are sacrificing their personal time. There is a reason for that. And at least we should respect why they are coming here. And if we can give those 2 minutes back, I don't think it's going to harm this council. We speak here for 2, 3, 4 hours, sometimes 6 hours. And spending an additional 15, 20 minutes is not going to harm. So I will always have the support for this ordinance, changing this ordinance. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Well, Council President.
Yes.
I'm going to give you a little example because I was going to ask you to speak after you were done about something. But so a resident came, but a resident ran out of time. And this is really like a point of light. Everybody knows the Lions Club. And the Lions Club is doing they have a dance party that they're raising money for the blind and the deaf, right? Again, Lions always doing, good work. It's being held at the American Legion at 43 Oakland Avenue, and the date is September 13th, 2025 from 4 to 8. Their event is only $25 if you sign up early, and it's $30 if you go later. And Anna Pershner can be reached at 732-287-5342. And I'll bring it up at this time because it was a resident, Miss Conway, didn't have time left to bring this up, so she asked if I could just bring it up as a point of light, but we passed the point of light at that point. But yes, like I said earlier, the extra 2 minutes for us to be here, that's not the problem. I never thought the public's problem, but I do agree with Councilman Patil. I think I'd almost rather see the rebuttal because we had a couple things where when the attorney gave it, there was a clarification, and you're talking about an extra couple minutes, really. That would be it. Thank you, Council President.
So in closing, I am going to invite everyone who is here, everyone who is listening or watching this meeting, if you want to come and comment on this discussion that we've just had, please do. Please do come and share your thoughts and feelings about this. And that is all I need to say. Can we get a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
May a second?
Second.
Second.
Okay, thank you. This meeting is adjourned, 7:33 PM. Thank you.